here we are. So maybe some of you have been in the participating in the closed beta, but we have now the full game with more content, more balanced patch, and more stable content too. So we'll start first. So this is going. Maybe we should have an overview of what the game is.
Yeah, I think we should introduce the game first.
So I'll let you do that.
Yeah, so basically for all the newcomers here, Rogue Lords is a roguelike game, as its name implies, with mechanics inspired by the big titles of the genre, with our own twist, which is that you play as the devil, leading teams of 3 disciples that you can choose among the 9 geniuses of evil at your service. So we'll start a run right now and introduce you through the mechanics as we play with
so we'll be using
our team.
We'll be using our team of Dracula, the Baron Samedi, and Lilith. So it's a team with... You might be playing a lot with Dracula as you begin the game with him, but we wanted to show you a bit more of the other character that you might unlock through the game. So this is not the first run you can do. This is actually the second one, the third one after the
it's
tutorial.
the second one.
So we'll have the run started.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll be talking about everything. Do you have the sound of the game? Because I'm not seeing it anywhere on the
platform.
on the platform.
So yeah, can you hear the game? All right. You do not hear the game.
We do not hear the game. Perfect. Maybe we'll go through this scene. Okay.
We'll get that fixed.
Yeah, that's better.
Great, thanks.
So here we are on the world map, controlling the Baron Samedi. And so as you can see, you have a map here.
Oh, it's a bit loud.
It's a bit loud.
Yeah, maybe we can tune it down a bit. There we go. Is it better?
Sorry for that.
On the go.
So that everything. And why do... Yes.
So maybe we can introduce the team and then what's
yeah, sure.
going on here.
Go ahead.
So, can you open the
spellbook?
Yeah, thanks. So, Dracula. Dracula is one of the disciples you'll be starting with when you first start the game. So he's quite a versatile disciple who can both deal damage in both elements, because the game has 2 elements, as you can see under the combat tab. So we have physical health points and spiritual points, which are both 2 different kinds of damage you can deal in the game. So Dracula can deal both, although he starts with a very physical build. He can also be kind of a support, buffing his allies through...
You dare to leave your master to do all the work?
Then we have Lilith, Lilith, who is, I think, one of the first disciples you will unlock. So she's also kind of a DPS, but also a tank. We'll go through that in the combat, but yeah, she has quite a balanced skill set that you can use. And lastly, we have the Baron, who's kind of an offensive support, who relies a lot on statuses, mostly the one called Depression, who will go through during combat as well. So his gameplay is around controlling the amount of status stacks you have on the enemies, so that you can exploit them to your advantage.
So yeah, and you can also, here we are controlling the Baron Samedi on the world map, but you can change disciple as you like and change the one you're controlling. So we'll start the tail, because each run is called the tail, with what we call a red wire. So this is basically a sort of animated piece of lore.
My disciples note a booming alchemical activity. Dozens of shops and peddlers promise miracles to passers-by. The most striking thing, however, is the sickly look
It's,
of the people.
it's about, so
An
the
old
game is
woman
about
enlightens us.
restoring your power.
The local waters
by
are bad
retrieving
for
all your
one's
artifacts
health,
that were
tainted
stolen
by
from
the
you a long
marsh.
time ago. And
Once
so
the
this is
lair
the
of
second
a...
tale, which is about the second artifact you'll be recovering, which is the severed
My
head
influence is
of the Hydra.
growing.
Okay, so we have our first game mechanic that we maybe I can talk about.
The devil voice is way louder than us.
The devil voice is
Yeah,
much louder.
he used to speak very loudly. Maybe we can.
Okay, so
tune
maybe
it
I
down.
think here, okay, that's with the voices, tune it down.
There we go. Okay, let us know next time he speaks. If that's
So
better.
here is our first game mechanic. It's called the influence with terror and threats.
Yeah.
You'll see this screen a lot through the game because, as you can see, you have different islets. We call that islet. Different points you can go through the
Different
map.
zones.
Each zone is defined by their activities. So you can have a combat, you can have a trader, you can have an event, an elite fight. There are some in-game mechanics that we'll talk about with the sacrifice altar, the Styx fountain. There are
Yeah.
random activities too. But what can happen is that you can see here there is a tooltip saying that there is a terror effect. So terror effect is basically something you can gather as usual rewards, and it will help you have some better effects when you come into contact to different activities. And threats are going to be threats to your
Gave me
disciple.
such lazy disciples.
We'll go through each type of activity as we go. So basically, the game is about reaching the end of the tale, which is split in 6 chapters. I think each chapter has 5 activities. Yes. So you'll be gathering skills for each
love to
disciple.
see
You'll
them
be gathering
burn.
souls that you can sell to the merchant for skills and relics. We'll be going through that as well. And yes, the terror, which not only gives you special effects, it also helps you get better skills at the end of combats and during events.
So maybe we should start our first combats. Whenever
Yeah.
you start a fight, you have the ability to choose the kind of reward you will be getting through this fight. So you can either choose to have a terror effect, as you can see on the map, it's indicated on which night it's going to. Basically, the night or the lines are on the map. So here you see it's supposed to happen 3 nights, so it's going to affect both the combat and the event that are highlighted in yellow. Maybe you also have the number of waves that the fight is going to contain. We're going to be talking a bit more about that. And also we will maybe start this fight with a skill roll.
Yeah, we can start with skill.
I think it's going to be a bit of a way to start. So the first fight has a special effect where every damage by the enemies are reduced by 2. So here is the main interface, the main UI you'll be having and going through when you are playing the game. So there is a lot of things going on here.
Yeah.
So maybe we should start by the enemies.
Yeah, and also tuning the music a bit down because I think it's a bit loud.
So maybe I should tune down the overall volume.
Yeah, I think so.
So maybe so the enemies, we have 2 enemies here.
Yeah.
As you can see, there is only one wave. It's going to be indicated by this little symbol here. Maybe you want to go over the enemies?
Yeah, sure.
If you want to.
So as you can see, each enemy and actually each character has 2 health bars. That's what I was talking about earlier about the physical one and the spiritual one. So both are actually health bar. So if one of them gets depleted, the character won't actually die right away. They will have to get 1 more hit in that same element for them to actually die. So basically, if I take Lilith as an example, so here you can see this skill hits in spiritual, this one hits in both. With Dracula, this one only hits in physical. So we have 2 kind of simple enemies here who are just going to deal damage. The first one are kind of simple. So should we just start introducing the disciples?
So yeah, we talked a bit about how Lilith was going to be an offensive kind of tank, how the Baron is going to be an offensive support. We can see also that under the health bar of the disciples you have some icons that are representing the different status. The statuses in the game are really really important part of what's going to happen in combat. Right now you can see that this Overseer has a provocation status, which is basically what you would call taunt, because if I want to target one enemy with the skill of Lilith, I can only target the Overseer because of the provocation. Lilith also have the abilities to put this status on herself. You can see that each enemy can either target all of your disciple or just one. It's represented by the red target, and the attack type disciple is going to be highlighted. So I think maybe we should take care of the Hierophant, but unfortunately the Overseer is taunting us, so we'll be attacking the Overseer. So
yeah, let's maybe introduce the skill system.
Yeah, sure.
So basically, during each turn of combat, you have a certain amount of action points, which are highlighted in red here. So it's 5 by default, but you can increase them through various means.
Bonus points.
Yeah, for example.
There's a lot of things.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to increase or reduce them. Basically, this action point pool is shared between every single disciple. And whenever you use a skill, so let's use... Go ahead.
Yes, it's okay.
So let's use this skill of Lilith first. So, as you can see now, the skill is depleted. So, you can only use skills once before they get depleted, and after that you have to reload them. So, each disciple has
his own
their own
his own reload skill.
Exactly. And so yeah, whenever you use a skill, you have to reload it. That's the main component of the game, and yeah, each disciple has its own reload skill, who has its own gameplay
mechanic.
Thank you.
Like as you can see here, Lilith has a really particular reload skill, as it costs 0, but it applies a status to her, and you can only use it as the first skill of the turn. Because we used Fire Trail on just as a skill before, we can't use anymore the Demon's Mark skill. However, you can see that many Disciple has its own capabilities. For example, Dracula has a really unique reload skill, as it will recharge all of the disciple skills, but it costs 2, so it's a bit of a committing skill to use, as you won't do as much in the turn. And as a way to mitigate that, we have the Baron, who has a really in-depth mechanic we'll go over in the run, but as you can see, this skill only costs 1. So you have a 0, a 1, and a 2 AP. AP stands for action point casting skill. So maybe we'll be attacking a bit more the Overseer, so I'll let you...
deal spiritual damage now, since we've committed to that. So we're gonna use this skill. So it's not gonna be as effective as it should be, because it's applying Migraine, which reduces spiritual damage dealt by whoever has it. But here the Overseer deals physical damage, so it's not gonna be as effective, but it's still a good way to deal damage. And I think since we only have one action point left, we can end the turn with Gust of Wind. So
Gust of Wind is a really particular skill, as it has an attribute. Attribute is also a way to, like, some sort of a passive attribute
way to use the skill.
to use the skill. So Gust of Wind is a really powerful skill, as it hits both on physical and spiritual spectre. But the fact that it will deal damage to all the enemies is a really powerful skill, so it will just end your turn flat out. So you have to be careful whenever you use it, because it will, if you do it at the beginning of your turn, you might lose just
your whole
straight
turn.
out your whole.
It's all written in green here, as you can see. So yeah, let's use that, which is going to end our turn. So now...
So we did actually a lot of damage to the Overseer, but now we will have to deal with the passive of the Overseer, because whenever the Overseer loses a status, he gains a stack of regeneration. So right now we might want to be hitting it a bit harder.
Yeah, maybe we can reload first.
So let's reload. Remember that Lilith can only use her reload at the beginning of the turn.
Yeah.
As you might not have seen it, but the Hierophant was attacking Dracula, and because we used the reload of Lilith, we actually retargeted the Hierophant attack towards Lilith.
Yes.
So yeah, let's deal a bit more damage. The provocation is gone, so maybe we can hit the Hierophant.
Yeah, maybe we can kill the Hierophant first and kill two birds with one stone with the AoE. Or maybe we can introduce...
let's skip that for the next fight.
Maybe later. So one interesting thing about Lilith, which actually makes her the DPS we know, is that each time
she has
someone else deals damage to an enemy, which can be like enemies themselves with statuses, she gains one bonus to her damages until the next time she actually uses a skill that inflicts damage. So you actually want to use a lot of your other disciples' skills, and then finish them off with Lilith.
It's actually, the more you wait between Lilith action, the most powerful she becomes. So it's kind of a greed test to either wait to do a huge gust of wind attack that is just going to melt down the enemy's health, or just use the really powerful skills Lilith have to her availability, like all the skill available to her.
So as you can see, both enemies are vulnerable, which means that if they get one other hit in the same element, they will die. So we'll just finish the combat now with a nice AoE in both elements, which should end the fight. And there we go.
You can also see that whenever an enemy dies, if it dies with either on a physical spectre or a spiritual spectre, the animation of the death is a bit different.
It has a different visual effects depending on which element.
So we now have the possibility to have a new skill.
What should we go with here? That's the question.
I think all of the skills are good, so I think we should go maybe for some alteration, because we don't have any.
Yeah, we don't have alterations. So alterations are basically a way to reduce the flat damage that any enemy is going to inflict to you during one turn. So it's a really good way to have some defensive play in your deck. So maybe let's go with that.
Let's go for the World Vapors. Yeah. Also, as you can see, each disciple has 7 slots available to them, but you only start with 5 unlocked. You'll have to unlock the 2 other one through the run with another mechanic. We'll have time to explain.
We'll go through it.
So we now have a skill for our Baron. As you can see now, the World Vapors is used. And it's also really useful as if we stack some neat debuff on the enemies, like depression, migraine, and stuff like this, we will be able to make them last longer whenever we we encounter some enemies. So here we have a first uprise. Uprisers are random elements that happen through the game, and this is our first threat effect. Two things can either happen when there is an uprising. You can either have a threat effect, or you can have just a fight to go through, a simple fight that can be a bit tricky to go through. So we now have, so we won't be using that yet. We have a first sacrifice stone. So
this is a particular mechanic that we have here. So it has many uses.
It has many uses. So what the sacrificial altar wants you to do, it wants you to give up one of your skill you already have. So it's a way to always have new ways to interact with your build, because you might be familiar to the skills you have, but whenever you sacrifice a skill on the sacrificial altar, it will give you another one of the same rarity of the skill. You will go through rarity later.
Yeah.
There's just too much.
Basically, what's happened is this is the way that you will get one of your disciples locked skill slots unlocked. So you have to sacrifice one skill, and that particular skill won't be available anymore during the run. So you won't be able to loot it or to buy it at the merchant. So you have to choose very, very wisely. But that's also a way to control which skill, you will be looting. So if you want, for example, to go for a spiritual build on Dracula, you can sacrifice all the physical skills, so you won't be getting them anymore as a reward.
Maybe it's a thing we should do.
Yeah, maybe we can go with that. Maybe not this one, because this one actually heals you, so we might want to keep that. But yeah, I think let's go with this one.
Let's go with that one. So you'll see that when I confirm, we'll have an effect showing that the slot is now unlocked.
Choose quickly.
So now we have the ability to go through a new skill for Dracula. As we saw, we wanted to have some spiritual damage for Dracula, and maybe Spirit of the Night is a good way to replace Bleeding Heart. I think it's the thing we just sacrificed.
Let's go with that.
It's kind of funny because it's still a one AP cost skill that will be.
Yes, we basically replaced the physical skill with a spiritual one. So now I think we can.
So we have to be careful because there are threat effects that will make us lose souls.
Yeah. So the merchant is basically a no-go because we'll be at 0 souls, which is our currency. So the Grim Reaper is basically a no-go.
I think maybe a Styx Fountain would be overkill as we have all our health.
We are full health.
But we can either go to this path and not lose anything, but not gain anything either.
Yeah,
or we can go.
Yeah, I think we can go left, and we can have a little talk about what the terror actually does in depth.
So okay, first
we have
a
secondary activity.
So first we're going to lose some souls.
Yeah. So that was the threat effect that happened earlier in between two zones.
So we have 2 events. Some, as you can see, the blue events are things that can...
Secondary activities. So yeah, basically whenever you enter a zone, it can have a secondary activity, which is completely optional. And it's basically something you can either do or ignore, depending on where you are during your run. So maybe we can start with the event here, which is another kind of main activity in Rogue Lords.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So when you begin an event, you can choose a disciple that will go through the event, and as you can see, events are going to have a test regarding social skills of your disciples. There are 5 social skills, which are Scare, Occultism, Temptation, Stealth, and Ruse. As you can see, this one is at least going to take Ruse in consideration during the test. So we might want to take the disciple that is having the most...
Yes. So here you're looking at a way to build your disciples in another way than just skills. And you are going to want to choose like which disciple you're going to take depending on the test, as we saw, like which is going to be Ruse, and the trait you're going to win. So now...
So the event of more of the part that I was going to have in-depth world building, so you can learn a bit more in the game of what's happening when you look at what's happening, and then you can interact with the main element of the event. And so you can see that there was a course that was unidentified, and your disciple was wondering what it was. So you can have a test to identify the bodies. Just search the body, but it might contain something that would harm your disciple, so you might have a negative trait out of that. Or you can just leave and just let it go. I think
we should now begin to tell you about...
Maybe let's skip that for the fight and introduce that for the...
Okay, we'll take our chance and
we'll
go with
take our
the
chance at
80% chance.
Okay, and I think it would be fine. So
He
let's
wants to
try
keep
it.
the surprise
And we
for
have a
later.
success at 80%.
So,
Baron Samedi recognized an alchemist paraphernalia. All his equipment is covered with a strange substance that's probably what caused his death. And then we have both our disciple getting a positive reaction. Positive reaction actually gives your disciple bonus traits whenever they have a reaction, bonus small traits. We didn't specify, there aren't any leveling mechanic and rules. Basically, having traits to augment your stats is the only way to have your disciples get buffed up, aside from statuses
yes,
in combat.
and relics, yeah. Also,
Yeah, and relics.
depending on your disciples' personality and relationship with each other, they might react negatively and give you negative traits instead, so you might want to be careful about this.
Okay, maybe we could...
Maybe there we are going to show you
so in
something.
Rogue Lords... I'll let you.
Okay, let's go. So, earlier when I was introducing the game, I told you that we had a little twist in our game compared to the other roguelikes out there. And this is that as the devil, you can cheat with the game, and it's actually a core mechanic of it. So here, we can interact with the interface, here being the success chances of the test we're going to do, and we can sacrifice our own health to put it back to 100% and then be sure to succeed the test.
So yeah, basically by doing that we sacrifice 10 points of our health to get this to 100%. And this will be a guaranteed way to taste the substance of the alchemist that was dead.
Yes, and I think this is going to give us a skill or a trait. A trait.
A trait that boosts, two traits that boosts damage of our disciples. So this is really
And
good.
health.
And health. Plus there is the trait that was at the beginning of the...
Yeah, so that was the trait we chose before starting the event.
So as you can see, at the end of this event, our disciple actually got a lot of trait out of that, and so now it has a lot of... the Baron Samedi has a lot of more power available to him. So the next combat is going to be...
More interesting. I think we should go with Terra here, and we'll go through what it does later, because it's important to build your Terra early in the game.
Yeah, maybe I'll let you do this.
Oh, I have to do it again? So, you already know the Overseer, so he's the one who gets regeneration stacks each time he loses a status, so we want to be careful about which status we give him. But we now have a Priestess, who is a kind of enemy who heals her allies each time she deals damage to anyone else. So again, we might want to target her first, but we still have to go through the Overseer. So let's see, what do we want to do here?
I think maybe we should have a bit of depression stacked on the Overseer.
Yeah,
because depression, we didn't talk about that, but depression is a weakness status that will not only deal damage on the spiritual health bar of the enemy, but it will also reduce the max health of this enemy too. So on both the end and the beginning of the turn. So it will be a really good way to prevent healing from the disciple.
It's a maximum spiritual health, and it's also a core part of the Baron's gameplay. So let's show you that in the next turn. So I'll just do some more damage with Dracula, and what else can we do? Some migraine maybe?
Migraine.
Still more damage. Okay, let's end the turn.
And you'll see that the Overseer got damage.
She's... I forgot. So... we just got tricked.
It's your enemies. You designed them, so it's your
what
own
happened
fault.
is I forgot to look at the priestess actions, who actually just purged all the malices on the Overseer. So our depression stacks just got wiped. So we are going to, I think, reload with Dracula maybe.
I think
after using this.
we're kind of in a bad spot, and the statuses on your seal looks cool, so maybe we
Oh,
talk-
you want to? Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. I know
Maybe we talked about what devil is
Yeah.
about, but you can also go and grab any statuses from any enemy.
and
and-
also reduce the HP. This
And
is going to
also-
cost us a lot, but hey, it's
But you can also completely drag their
yeah.
health down.
You can basically touch
Actually-
anything that's greedy.
No, but what I
Oh.
want to show is that
Okay.
moving HP is actually not that costly.
Yeah.
Especially at the beginning of the game, so you can use a lot of devil mode in order to
Yeah,
go
to-
through the beginning of the game.
If you're feeling stuck, yeah. So,
And now we're going to have the priestess, and maybe
Wow.
we can use Gust of Wind to
yeah.
end the turn, as it will kill the overseer.
We still need to do more damage to the priestess if we want to. Are you sure about this? Because I'm not.
I don't know. Actually, if we
I don't think we can kill her this turn, but we
No,
can
we
definitely
can't.
kill the overseer. She will get healed though.
We can basically recharge with Dracula and end with Gust of Wind.
Yeah, let's do
as
that.
it will prepare us better for the next turn.
So, as we told you earlier, Dracula recharges everyone else. So as you can see, Lilith has her skills loaded back up. So now we kill the overseer, so we only have to deal with the priestess. So she healed herself a bit of spiritual damage thanks to her passive, but we can still easily defeat her during this turn.
So what do we go for? This
I
one?
think yeah, we can just go. Let's use depression, and I think maybe let's finish her with the buried reloading skill. Just do
Yeah. Like
not now. Maybe migrant first.
migrant first?
Yeah, so-
Okay.
So, the Baron's reload skill. So it triggers depression. So basically, it just depression usually triggers at the beginning and the end of each turn. So triggering manually through a skill like this just basically means it's activating earlier at your convenience. So as you're going to see, she's going to lose a stack of depression and suffer its damage and be defeated. There we go. So, okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So the terror effects. So as we saw earlier before starting the fight, these effects are going to be placed into knights. So it's both one giving us souls and another one buffing the sacrifice altar. So let's just click to continue, and let's hover, I think, the terror bar, if you want things. So the terror does basically two things, maybe three. It gives you the effects we just saw. It also, as you can see right here, increases your chance to obtain wicked level skills. So basically skills like disciple skills have 3 levels of rarity, as you can see here. It has the normal, the wicked, and the demoniac. Demonic. Thanks. So in order to upgrade a skill, you have to get 3
instances of the same skill.
things, 3 instances of the same skills. They will fuse, give you 1 instance of the higher rarity, and as well discover a new skill of the same rarity for the same disciple. And also each time you reach 4 in the terror, you reach a notch, which, as I just said, increases your chances of looting rare skills and also gives you a relic. So it's quite important to build it early on.
Yeah,
during
relic
your
are a way to obtain a passive ability that just that will really change the gameplay of sometimes.
I think we could go for another terror, because we're going to have the red thread up ahead and
have a terror effect.
exactly.
Every book chapter gives you a terror effect whenever you finish it.
Yeah.
So this is a way to obtain more terror, so you can plan whenever you're going to obtain a relic.
Exactly.
So maybe also we can go for souls, but yeah, I think you're right.
I think
Going-
yeah, let's go with terror.
Let's go with the terror. So we have 2 Hierophant. Hierophant are good enemies to get through. They do not have that much of HP. So we have this one going 12 damage on all the enemies and this one going 13. You can see that this is the enemy's intention, which indicates what the attack is going to be. But on top of your disciples, you have also a UI that indicates how much damage are they going to take. So by just a quick look over all of the
UI
combat screen, you can basically see everything that is going to happen at the end of the turn.
Yeah. So I think that would be a good occasion to showcase how Migraine works.
Yeah, sure. So maybe you want to have that, or maybe you want to attack
ahead.
with the Lilith first in order to
Oh
do
yeah,
more
we can.
damage.
So yeah, we can use Burn first, because as you can see, Burn makes anyone who has it take 2 spiritual points each time they get damaged. So it's a good thing to put it first.
So maybe
whichever you choose.
Yeah, this one.
Okay, yeah, but the other one is hitting in AoE.
Yeah, so we'll go for that.
Oh, but it's actually going to die.
It's actually good.
We can't show you.
Wait, if we use Gust of Wind,
Yeah, he might die from Gust of Wind, so
if
we can.
use Gust of Wind is going to do 2 for the HP attack, 2
Yeah.
for the SP attack.
Yeah, we can
if
do this.
we on a roll, it's a good way to have it. So
Yeah, I think it's gonna work.
so we'll leave that
Yeah,
to the end.
let's go. Yeah, on this one. So Migraine. See, yes. So it reduces by 10 the spiritual damage inflicted by whoever has it. There's a similar skills that does status. Sorry, that does the same for physical damages. But the Baron only has this one right now. So let's use Gust of Wind, and if we are lucky, we might. And we did
yes,
get lucky.
Oh, we also had, because the Baron attacked this
Yeah,
enemy, it
she
did
got,
gave a buff
Yeah,
to
she got
Lilith.
damage buffed. So the Hierophant is actually an offensive support, so he's going to try to heal himself, but sadly for him, I think we might just be able to finish the battle first. So we are going to get our third terror effect.
Which is going to affect all of the sacrificial altar there. We have some really nice effect that that are going to give us some health back.
They just buffed the whole sacrificial altar row. Yeah, line. Yeah, right. So it's gonna be nice whenever we get there.
So we have this event going for a threat effect. So we might be able to kind of anticipate how we are going to progress right after the book chapter. So we are gaining some souls here from a terror effect. So because we lost 50 souls, we now gain 60 back. So it's kind of a win-win situation. Of course, we would have preferred to keep our souls, but
Yeah, of course.
So now we're going through an elite fight.
Yes, so these are the kind of mini bosses you can find in the game. They are quite complicated to fight through, but they give you a relic, which is definitely something you need if you want to get through the boss at the end of the tale.
Relics are really the best kind of reward you can
get. Yeah, it's a game changer for some of them. So here we have the Admiral. So the Admiral is kind of simple. She has what we call a global effect that you can see on the top right of the screen. So it's something that applies to every single fighter in the game.
Oh, yeah. We can't see the global effect.
Oh yeah, we are hiding it actually. Let's.
Because here
yeah,
you
there
can
we
see
go.
that there is a perseverance effect, which said each time all a combatant receives a healing, all enemies earn +1 damage to the same
Yes.
moment. And as you can see, the Admiral is going to heal on both HP and SP all of the enemies. So
Yeah. Go ahead.
we either have to kill an enemy really fast or to just focus.
Yeah, so there's something about her. So she has this simple pattern. She alternates between dealing damage and healing on every turn, but she only hits. She only deals physical damage. So if we stick to spiritual damage here, we might be able to not give her any physical boost. So I think we should go with that.
Maybe we should focus on a medium first.
Yeah, I think so, because mediums, on the other hand, do spiritual damage, so the Admiral is going to buff them. So we want to, I think, focus one of them.
So how are we going to go for that?
Well,
maybe should we go for a burn?
Yes.
And then go for the... Also, the medium starts with the Aegis status, which reduces any incoming HP damage by 6. At the beginning of the game, 6 HP is really high. As you can see, we can have... This skill, for example, would do just 0 damage.
There's not a lot of skills in the early game that goes through this. But in the other hand, she has way less HP than she has SP.
SP.
Thanks. So
if we got the 2 hits for Dracula... oh no, it's just one.
Yeah, it's just one on its first level. So yeah, we can go with that, and maybe, even if it's not optimal, we can put the version of the other medium on this one, actually, because we are going to lose burn either way.
Yeah,
so it would
I
be
think you're right.
So as you can see, so since burn and depression are both weaknesses, they got replaced. So basically depression replaced burn. So you want to be careful with that, because you might replace a buff or a debuff with something you don't want if you're not careful.
This is a really this is a mechanic that you have to be really aware of, is that you can't stack statuses of the same nature. You have to be really careful.
Yeah, the same category.
There are 6 nature of statuses, so you can have a lot of status on the same enemies, but you have to be careful on which one you apply in order to
keep things efficient. So she just healed everyone, but since only one medium was hurt, they only got buffed once in spiritual damages. So now we can finally show what the Baron can do with his reload.
Yeah,
we've been trying so long. Maybe use the
migraine first.
Yes, you read my mind exactly. So let's put her damage back to 0, because she's going to do a lot of damage.
Yeah, she was basically going to do.
Yeah, 8 times 3 is a lot.
On the Baron.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe. No. Yeah. Okay. Let's go with that.
So she now does 0, so the Baron is not going to take any damage, but we might be able to kill this one.
Yes, I think so. We still have Gust of Wind, do we?
Yeah.
Okay, I was confusing.
So yeah.
So there's something else about the Baron's reload that we haven't shown. Is that, so as I just told you, it triggers depression as if it was happening in the end of the turn or the beginning of the turn. But if it actually removes the depression, the Baron gains 1 AP bonus, which is going to happen right now, which is going to be basically a bonus AP we get on the next turn.
So that means the action actually costs nothing, because we are going to have this effect on the next turn.
Yeah, with the Baron you might want to always have someone at 1 depression, so you can trigger it each turn.
So maybe we could use...
What can we use?
Maybe this, to add another migraine, so that the medium is not going to bother us on the next turn.
We can do that, yeah. Let's do that.
Or maybe use this on the...
Yeah, I think it's fine on the medium.
On the medium?
Yeah, I think so. We can just cast that with the rest of them.
But we have to be careful, as Gust of Wind did deal damage on the HP bar of the Admiral, so she might be able to heal herself and gain bonus damage from that.
She's definitely going to. Should we give her back her own status that she gave us?
We should. We definitely should. So she gave us Zombie. Zombie is basically what it means. It's that it will transform Risky Healing into damage, so we can go into Devil mode and give the Zombie
right back to her.
Right back to her. So we now have... We have a lot of things that we can do on this turn, because we have 6 action points instead of 5. I think we can start first by reloading with the
Lilith. We can reload Lilith.
So this will drag all the attention towards her, but since the medium is not going to do any damage, and I think she'll die in this turn, to be honest. So we might first want to... we don't want to put any weaknesses on the Admiral as it will remove the zombie.
Yes, but we can kill the medium with depression, I think.
Okay, so let's go for depression.
Yeah.
As you can see, its yellow action point is now going to disappear, so we're back to 5 action points. And now we're going to be attacking. So we don't want to attack with the fire trail. We want to attack with maybe migraine.
Yeah, we can use migraine on.
Also,
the
you can see that on the Admiral. Yeah. So because we had some bonus traits on the Baron, we have now a better the base damage of the skills have been updated.
Right.
So now we go for Gust of Wind, or maybe we should trigger...
I don't think triggering would be efficient here, because...
triggering won't be, because...
Yeah, we won't win any bonus AP.
So maybe triggering on the Admiral, in order to have our skills back on the next turn.
We can either do that, I don't remember what Dracula has left.
Dracula only has 2 AP, so we
nothing
need to
that's
keep
really
one
interesting.
in order
Yes.
to
Yes. Well, yeah, maybe we can reload and just let the turn end. Or yeah.
Or Gust of Wind. So
or Gust of Wind, because why not?
okay, so she's going to deal damage to herself and not buff herself because of the zombie status. She's going to do a lot of damage to everyone. So as you can see, Lilith has 13 HP, and whenever your one of your disciples gets hit and it will go below 0, the first hit is always going to drag down the health bar to 0, and then your disciple is going to be vulnerable, and then you'll take damage into your diabolic essence. So
we have a quick question I'd like to answer. So Appiodici, if that's the right way to pronounce it. So basically you choose your team of disciple at the start of each run, and then you will keep it until you end the run, either by winning it or by losing it. And after that you start fresh with whatever disciples you have unlocked and you want to choose. And sadly, 2 of them behind us didn't make it to to the final game.
I think I want to go for more...
we can either use migraine or the Dracula skill, but I don't think he has it. Yeah, he doesn't has it.
Actually, I wanted to go for a reload and lower down.
Yeah, we can lower her damage. Yeah, I went with the Italian pronunciation. I had a feeling. Yeah, let's increase the burn.
So now she only deals 8 instead of 14, and she had 3 stacks of burn that we're going to use in the next turn.
So thanks to that, we didn't get vulnerable with Lilith. So yeah, let's try to finish this.
Start with Lilith in order to use maybe Fire Trail. Maybe we want to use...
Yeah, let's use like other disciples first.
Maybe with this we can buff the Lilith damage, because it will do 4 different kind of hits, with 2 being physical and 2 being spiritual.
Yeah, let's do that so
we can see that Lilith.
Yeah, Lilith already has a 4 damage buff, which is kind of huge. Yeah, go ahead.
And maybe Gust of Wind at the end.
Yeah, we can Gust of Wind. And let's just keep doing it until we get through.
Yeah, we have to be really careful with how she's going. So yeah, we have something that is really bothering. We'll need to get through that. When you have this little icon, it indicates that you're going to take damage into your diabolic essence. So when you see that, you have to be really careful and wonder a bit how you can reduce your different attack. I think we can first reload because we're going to be targeted at the way.
Yeah, anyway.
Then we can apply, I think,
Wall, yeah.
Wall that will.
Yeah, warmth is not going to be that useful because it heals spiritual.
But I think what we can do then is use vampirism and then Gust of Wind in order to.
Well, yeah, let's. Yeah,
I think
good
it
idea.
might be. So here we have Wall, which is going to reduce the damage by half. So now we can see that it's only 10. We're going to use this skill from Dracula. That is going to replace Warmth because Warmth was a healing, but it gives actually vampirism, which
they
is.
are both Q statuses.
And next we'll be doing Gust of Wind, and because we will inflict damage 2 times, we will be giving out 3 to 5 HP, so we'll be going above 10. And
Wait. Can you please go back on Lilith? We have something to explain, I think. So it's just a slight difference for you guys to understand. So we have turn-based statuses, which have their effect permanently until the status is removed, and they lose a charge at the beginning of each turn. And we have charge-based statuses, which lose a charge each time they get activated. That's just a slight.
So yeah, that's right. Yeah. So as you can see, we had more than 8 HP, so we actually have Lilith.
If we had less than 8 HP, Lilith would have. We actually would have gotten hit in the Devil Essence, but.
Let's recharge a bit, and then let's maybe use the Baron attack and recharge with Dracula, I think. We'll need to get a bit more skill in order to have different ways to answer some situation.
Yeah, we definitely need more skills. Maybe we can finish this with Devil mode. I don't know if I want to get greedy here. Yeah, let's just keep going. Okay, let's end this fight.
Like she's at 20 HP and we have all of her skill.
Yeah.
So maybe let's try
reload first with the Baron.
Reload with the
bonus
yes.
AP.
Yeah, I don't think we want to get the next turn because we're going to take 19
damage.
damage.
Yeah, you're right. Let's just kill. Yeah, let's finish the fight.
Kill this Admiral right now.
You're right. Yeah, and actually, we can just finish it that way. You're gonna replace Burn. There you go.
So yeah, I think with that we're going.
Yes, one last skill. There you go. And there we go. Okay, Admiral down.
Because we had Dracula getting her to 0 and then the burn status proc, we had the way.
Oh, I know which one I'm gonna take.
The burden.
Oh yes, we do. So these are relics. So you have a different kind of relics pool each time you get relics. So basically, the first 3 relics you'll get will be coming from a special pool. So the first one is just basically strong relics overall for all your disciples. The second pool will be aimed to specific disciples, and the third one I forgot.
I was reading the trailer, sorry.
It's the third one are world map relics. There you go.
So I think the burden Dracula is not that good.
Yeah, actually you're right.
So maybe Warhorn?
Yeah, Warhorn may be right, because the burden is a great relic for whatever disciple you have that gives buffs.
Well, maybe we could take the burden because Dracula is going to give buff after.
Yeah, but I don't know if he has really interesting buffs that we want to use with the burden, because Warhorn, on the other hand.
Yeah, let's go with Warhorn.
Yeah, can we get our 3 disciples to play each turn? That's also a question.
I think if we recharge with Lilith, we have a 0 action point, and then we can go for any action with both Dracula.
Yeah, no, you're right. Let's go for it.
Okay, so let's go. By the way, I saw a question in the chat if the game had some translations, so I just want to show you that in the option you can have the subtitles put on, and on the main menu option you have many languages that are supported. like all of the main European stuff is
I think
in.
you can check if your language is supported on the Steam page, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
The Blood Mode edition of the game, I will leave that to our friendly community managers in the chat.
So we're now at chapter 2.
So yeah, we reached another red thread that gives us the next part of the story, and as soon as we end it.
Also, you can see that each time you read a chapter, there is this sort of animated sketch going through. You can find all of. You have a digital art book that is going to be released. That has a lot of all of the research and the sketches the artist did. I think you can find also some of the artist's personal work on the credits.
So we reached a new Terra notch because, as we said earlier, we reached a red thread which gave us 1 point of terror. We had 3 out of 4, so now we are at the second notch. So now we are getting 1 relic for our disciples.
Each of them is really powerful.
Yeah.
It really depends on how we're going to progress through this run.
Since we have a support Dracula, I don't think the third one is a good option here. I don't think we want
the
necklace.
The succubus necklace is too game changing for Lilith, and she's going to be our main DPS. We need her mistress of suffering.
Agreed. So we might want, but at the same time, the old portrait, I think. Since we want to use the Baron's recharge as well as Lilith's recharge, I don't think the old portrait is good here. So we might just have to take the Styx Flower.
We already have the Warhorn as a damage dealer. Maybe the Styx Flower is
go with that.
Not better, but having 1 to 3 depression is a good way to start the fight with basically free recharges for the Baron.
Especially the upcoming skills of the Baron, who have a lot of interaction with depression.
So let's go with the Styx Flower.
Yes.
So now we have a bit of choice. So I know those 2 ones have a really neat effect that is going to buff our Diabolic Essence from the max Diabolic Essence from 50 to 60. So we might want to go for one of those. Also, there is a threat effect that is going to make us lose 50 souls. So we might want to go for either one of those.
Yes.
Or maybe we could talk about what we can do with the devil mode here.
Yeah, maybe
because I know this one is different. I don't.
Yeah, which one is it? A trait. I think we might want. So yeah, this one was giving us a trait whenever we reached the zone. I think we want the max.
The max essence.
Yeah,
this
the max
is actually really.
It's really
valuable
handy.
effect, so we can use it definitely. Oh, and there is
the secondary activity, because why not?
Activity. So.
Yes.
Also, it did give us some health back. Maybe we want to go for Styx Fountain here.
Yeah, because then we might get another skill we want to sacrifice. Wait, the Styx Fountain.
Yeah, because maybe we can talk about Devil Mode. Devil Mode can actually do a lot of stuff on the world map. We might be talking about it later.
I think we might be lacking a good skill to sacrifice. So I was thinking maybe we can try to get another skill either in event or
in a fight,
combat. Maybe event. I'll let you choose. You make the call.
Actually, if we roll that and we get an elite fight, we will have to reroll it even further.
Yeah, we might.
Because what we were talking about is that you can reroll any secondary activity into a random activity. So if you have 2 fights on the same islet, but you want absolutely to have a heal or a trader because you are having a lot of souls right now, you might want to go for a reroll.
But you're gambling here, so you might
gambling.
Yeah, you might want to be careful with this because you might lose a ton of essence.
So we have occultism and scare. We have Dracula, which has good occultism, but not a good scare.
He's kind of average.
But okay, let's see what
he has. This is a good trait. Medium is a good trait.
Yeah, having more spiritual points and more spiritual damage is actually really good. So let's go for that.
Yeah, I think we will go for that.
people talking about old portraits.
Yeah, it's really good on the Hypercarry Dracula build.
So, the event The Scarecrow. It won't take long for the farmer to realize his mistake.
Oh, wow.
So we can either scare the farmer or bring back the Scarecrow to life.
Yes, which is either way going to cost us lots of essence.
Because you don't want to miss what happens during an event.
Yeah.
And you don't want to take the risk.
Because regardless of whether you success the test or fail it, you are going to get the trait that you were promised before you started the event, but you might miss on additional rewards if you fail the tests. So yeah, that's really something you want to keep in mind when you go to an event.
And actually getting Diabolic Essence to work here is really costly. So because we gain 10 here, maybe
we might want to
stick to 10.
Yeah,
so
let's keep our essence because we don't want to
need it.
lose. Yeah, we don't want to lose this run. I think
we don't want to lose on the first.
This would be embarrassing.
First run displayed error, and it's a lose. So Dracula lets out a horrendous wail capable of curdling the farm's blood. The nice guy outlined silhouette that could stick her to
I agree with you, Madvim.
Uh,
So we can either let him go. So yeah, so that's also one thing that's good to know. You can get a hint of what's going to happen if you read the event, like which reward you're going to get. So if you let him go, so he can tell his tale, we might get some terror out of it.
Yeah, it might spread the terror across the world, so
Yeah.
you can get more terror out of this. And if you devour his soul, you can gain.
Yeah, you're going to regain
both some Diabolic Essence or soul, because if you keep the soul, you gain soul, but if you devour it, you gain some essence back.
I think we want some terror here, but that's just.
We
my
want some
opinion.
terror.
Yeah,
I was
think so.
thinking going for safety and devour the soul.
Okay.
What do you want? I picked the last choice.
Let's go terror. Let's go terror.
Let's go terror.
I want good skills.
So we have some more terror. Oh, actually, those
are really good.
terror.
Those are really good. So yeah, so as you can see, we have some like forced activities on some chapters. This one was a forced sacrifice on the first night of the second chapter. We have forced merchant and forced elite fight
go with
at the end of chapter 2. Yeah. So let's go to the sacrificial altar. We didn't get a skill in the end, but we might still have good.
I think we already sacrificed a skill of
one of Dracula's. We might want to make some space on the Baron.
Yeah, the Baron has a lot of skill. This one is not going to. We don't use it yet, but it can be really useful.
And we are against. I mean, yeah, no, I'm cheating. I know the boss, because, but yeah, we're not supposed to know the boss.
You want to keep that for the boss?
No.
No?
I don't think so.
So maybe we can go.
Yeah, we can just remove it. Because Lilith has some good healing skills too, so we can just remove it. So
maybe we could take a second psychedelic.
I think so. We want to get a wicked skill.
We want to upgrade the skill.
So now we have 2 psychedelic fogs. The next one we'll
we'll upgrade the skill.
Thanks. We will have a triplet, and it will fuse and give us an improved version.
So we're now progressing to another fight.
Yes,
and
another.
And we also get some souls.
We're
actually getting a more snowball effect.
Just before a merchant.
This is actually really good.
Yes.
So we
Pain Master
on Lilith
on both is crazy. What do you think?
We have the Baron already having some good damage.
Yeah,
we want to have.
Yeah, let's get some. Let's give Lilith some traits as well.
But this is going to be an occultism test. Oh, this is the one where you have to find out if the witch is.
So this is an event that can has many outcomes. So the woman here can either be a witch or not, and depending on whether she is or not, you might want to free her or not. So you can either test your luck and just free her or not anyway, or take the occultism test and see
if she's a witch or not.
Yeah, you can know for sure.
So maybe.
Yeah, let's just do it.
Let's just do it.
No. 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 Let's play it safe.
So we are actually getting really low.
Yes, we are getting low. I think I saw a Styx fountain, so.
Yeah, okay. I think you're
Yeah,
right.
we'll get. So she is
definitely
a real witch. So we
will
want to free her.
Oh, and we have a
And
reaction.
we are going to get a good skill out of it.
So we're going to free the accused woman. And by freeing her, she will put a spellbook into
our belonging, and there we have our first wicked skill. So now we want to think this carefully. Welcome, Sire Rose. Yes.
Relaxation is a really good skill.
Yeah, it's a good skill. It has an initiator, so we can't reload Lilith and use it at the same time, but it's a really good cleansing skill. But consuming flames is good because it would double the amount of damage we do with Gust of Wind.
Yeah, definitely. Because
And,
Split Spirit is a really, really powerful effect that turns every HP damage into SP damage. So we might want to take that.
And it would also allow us to take some physical damages on Dracula and use them as spiritual damage with it. So yeah,
let's go with Consuming Effect.
Yeah, it's just
also it's a 1 AP.
It's such a good skill.
So we now have a really good skill on Lilith.
Yes.
Plus we have a damage buff, but we need to be careful on the next fight.
Yes, because we got quite quickly.
So maybe you can go with to a skill.
I was going to suggest the same. Yes, because we have
the Baron.
Yes, the Baron who might get a psychedelic fog.
So we also have now the Styx Flower that is going to proc. So we have a depression right here, so we can go for Colon Spirits to trigger this depression.
Yes, or we can use some other skills first, so we reload them at the same time. I think.
Yeah, sure.
Like Migraine, for example, I'm the one who's going to
heal herself.
Yes. So she is going to. She was actually, because now she won't deal any more damage. She was going to leech, which is basically just lifesteal. So we just prevented that, and now we can reload and get a bonus.
Have another.
Yes, and as you just saw, despite us not doing any damage because she has mental barrier, the effect of depression is still procced, and she still lost max SP, so it's a good way to get through protections.
So we now have applied more spiritual debuff on those enemies. Oh, and they cleanse themselves. So maybe on. I think this one is going to die on this turn. So what I wanted to do was first.
Go ahead, that's yours.
To have a burn on this one.
Yeah.
And then
she's going to die anyway now.
She's going to die anyway. And then have.
Oh, then we have a second wave actually.
We have a second wave, so we might want to be taking care of.
We also could try to use our War Horn.
Yeah, you're right. So
and we have
Dracula.
A one. Well, if you want to use Gust of Wind. I mean, it was your turn. You go ahead.
So I want to have her down. So the Warhorn procced. So we have now plus 2 damage on all of our disciples. The bonus damages and debuffs are indicated under the portrait. This is something I think that was not in the beta, in the closed beta. This is something we added differently, but because we didn't realize it as it was necessary. But it now gives a really better understanding of what's happening in the fight.
Yeah, and it's also an easier way to track the passive of Lilith.
So because she's now alone in the fight, I want to set up better for the next wave to arrive. So I want to maybe have a depression stacked here and have Dracula recharge, or maybe I don't want to have one charge because I want to trigger it on the next turn. So I think I just want to have this one. And then end this turn, even if it's prevent 1 AP. Okay, and then, so she has Splitted Spirit now, so maybe we can showcase how it works with any Dracula attack. maybe?
Yeah, because she doesn't have Split Spirit, she has Mirror Effect.
Oh, she has Mirror Effect.
She replaced it, or did you? And you have Silence, so you can't actually apply...
I can't apply, and I don't want to use Devil Mode, it was going to be too difficult.
Yeah.
So maybe we should just go naturally and just trigger the effect.
Trigger the effect and whatever skill of your liking.
I think this one is good.
Let's go. So now...
I should have reloaded with direction.
You should have.
I should have. So we have now a second wave, so let's go. So this one is going to be putting a lot of weakening. I think it's the... I know this enemy because I worked a lot too with it. She's going to put a physical debuff.
Yes.
Oh, actually Lilith
has a lot of damage. I think you want to keep it to...
Maybe we want to stack it a bit more.
Gust of Wind, yes, also.
So maybe let's put Depression.
Yeah.
To even stack more damage on Lilith. To have a really high damaging attack. And recharge to prepare for the next turn. I like to have I like to play with a lot of build-up. Because we now have more and more skill, you can have a really good way to just prepare how you're going to do damage to your enemies. I think that's really cool. So maybe we could trigger both Depression.
Yeah, we can trigger both and you can handle the fight however you...
I want to go for that. I think I'd like to... No, I want to first... I don't know. I don't know, because I want to use Lilith attack to do a lot of damage to the medium, but I want to use Gust of Wind too, so...
Yeah, you have a very high Gust of Wind coming up, so you might want to use that.
Yeah, and I need to keep it to finish the turn. This is actually really interesting.
She's going to heal herself.
She's going to heal.
You want to migrate her. Migrate her.
And then we're going for the Gust of Wind doing 20 damage
Gust
to
of
everyone.
Wind. Let's go.
She almost killed them on the HP damage too.
Wow, got a lot of damage here. Okay, so let's finish the fight and maybe call it a day.
Yeah, maybe. So I want to kill an enemy on the... Oh no, I have silence, I can't use that.
You have silence, you can't use that.
So okay,
indeed.
Let's have another attack here and... to...
Which enemy Cyrus? I'm curious.
So we now have... Oh, we don't have...
We don't have any of these.
We have Netherworld Vapor Plus, so
yes,
maybe we could go for that.
We can just replace... Oh, yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. No, yeah.
Having two of them is actually really good.
And we have an upgrade.
So as you can see, there is an arrow right here. And when taking it, it will actually take the 3 skills and do a bit of an upgrade.
So this one is now upgraded, so the first upgrade just lowers its AP cost. And we will now...
have a discovery.
Okay, so that would be the Mistress of Ceremonies, Cyrus. And we have a discovery, yes, of the same rarity.
So...
well, you had very good skill, yes.
Yeah.
No, the bottom one.
Oh,
this one is crazy.
I never played with this one, so it reduced the impeding attack by 4. It triggers Depression, and if Depression was removed... Oh, and it targets all of the enemies, so this is a way like to have a really good chain reaction.
Yes, that's the...
And you have the Styx Flower at the beginning.
Yes, that's the bread and butter of the Baron Samedi, especially if you have his other relic, but that might be for another time.
Yeah, so we have actually been playing for about an hour and 20 minutes. I think we can call it a day. I hope we showcased a bit what you wanted to see of this game. We were... Personally, I was really pleased to present that. And
I was having fun
to do that.
So, as a recap, as you can see on the screen right now, the game is going to be available on PC on the 30th of September and early 2022 for the consoles. The dates have yet to be announced. And yeah, we might see you again
So yeah, we have another stream. This is actually the end screen, so we won't be talking
Yes, we
on
won't be
it.
talking over it.
So we have another dev stream coming up as the game will be released on Thursday.
On Thursday, yeah.
On September 30th. So be sure to be there. We will be, I think on this one, this one was a lot of explanation how the game works, what's the mechanic. On the next one, we're going to be showcasing a bit more difficult run and trying to, we only did 2 to 3 chapters, so we might be wanting
we'll
to
be going a bit faster, I think, in terms of gameplay and try to show you the most advanced chapters. But either way, thank you guys so much for tuning in. It was a lot of fun to do this stream, and we hope to see you again on Thursday stream and hear your thoughts about the game.
So yeah, see you there, and I hope you liked this presentation.
Yeah, have a nice evening or time of the day.